There is, of course, other work to be done at the Capitol beyond the budget. Joining me now to talk about some of it and about one of the bills going through this session is Senator Rob Kane. And Kevin Egan, he is a third-grade teacher from Waterbury and a board member of the Connecticut Education Association. Thanks, Senator, for being here. Thanks for being here. I guess if you could talk first, Kevin, tell me why we need this, why we're even talking about this. Why do we need this kind of change?
Well, right now, it's something that's not talked about too often. In the last 4 years, we've had about 6,000 cases of physical violence against teachers, but yet we don't hear too much about it. The bill will bring us, Connecticut, in line with 39 other states that have strong penalties for these types of assaults.
And how serious have the assaults been?
Some range. We have one example of a teacher in Waterbury who still is not back to work. Another example of one that I'm familiar with is back to work, but she was an avid runner and she no longer can run long distances.
And what happened there?
The second instance, she had 3 assaults against her. The third one was most serious, where she actually ripped her hip tendon, and since then she has really not been able to run. So
it was an assault by a student at the school? By
a student at the school, yeah.
And what happened to that student?
That student, actually they followed protocol, but when it gets to a point where right now it would be classified as a misdemeanor, and this Senate Bill 1163 would classify that type of assault as a felony, Class D felony.
And Senator Kane, why did you support that?
Well, really, Lori, it's about the 4 basic principles that government has to provide, which is education, public safety, public health, and infrastructure. And this certainly goes along the education and the public safety aspect. So you're right. We are doing more than just the budget up in Hartford. We are taking on a lot of different issues, and this is an important one.
But some people, I mean, there is the argument that some people make that, there's too much police involvement in schools. Like, let's just handle it at the schools because it really, it doesn't necessarily address the reasons that it's happening.
Well, the bill does address, say that it's for only second and subsequent offenses after that. So we're not looking to have police come barging into school environment. We're looking at those cases, the serious ones that may result into some type of physical harm for teachers. As teachers, we're assigned the task to provide a safe environment for all of our students. But yet what happens when the situation is reversed?
So is the fight over what's defined as serious, or?
We could debate about what's serious, but I do believe that there are instances where we have repeat offenders, and there are cases where we need to look at it a little more closely.
And that hesitancy is, why do you think there's hesitancy now to do that?
Well, I think because it's a school environment, I think we're always, as I know myself as a teacher, we always look to the positive students, and we want to help those students, and we want to bring them along. But as we all know, in this current environment of workplace violence, things do happen sometimes. And I think we'd like the state of Connecticut just to come up to line as other states have.
And Senator Kane, was there pushback that you got on this? I mean, were there people?
Well, there were some no votes in the Judiciary Committee, and that's where it started. Just today, it was referred to the Education Committee, so we'll see where it goes through there, and then, of course, it'll make it onto the Senate calendar. So certainly,
what were the no votes? What was the basis behind those?
Some of what you expressed earlier about the police in schools and looking after the children that are involved. But, it's not, just like, as you know, with a lot of things that go through the legislature, nothing is totally done, as you said in your earlier segment about the budget. I still think it's a moving target. I still think, when you get teachers involved, when you get the legislature involved, when you get the law enforcement involved, then you can really create a good bill that works for everyone.
So as a teacher, your hopes is that making this a more serious offense will have the end result of what? For the offender, let's say.
Well, we would hope that students would realize that and hopefully at some point realize that the school environment, the classroom, should be a safe environment. And if they do something that warrants the safety for not only themselves, but the students around them and the teacher, there should be some type of consequence for it.
And is this going to be a mandated consequence, or?
Well, it'll be put into law.
Yeah.
Certainly.
But I mean, it's the second offense, and you are referred to
Subsequent offenses, right?
Oh, the subsequent offense. Okay. What else, Senator? If you could tell us what else you're working on besides the budget.
You know, Laura, actually, this is a good bill, and this is a good example of what we do in the legislature. But we also have to fight a lot of what's bad. And you know, people ask me all the time, "What are you working on?" And a lot of times we spend more time killing bills because we have some things that just come out that you're just mind-boggling and you shake your head. But I think, you know, obviously the session is not over. We still have till June 8th. There's a lot of things that we need to put forward. Certainly things that are economic development driven as well. But as long as they don't affect the bottom line of the budget, you'll see a lot of bills move forward.
I mean, do you think that there's going to be a lot more movement? I mean, let's go back to the budget.
I think there has to be. You know, with the budget, certainly. I think there should be a public outcry on the budget, and I think you will see some of that. Shows like you have here today, just keep bringing attention to it, really make it important. You know, whether it be people talking on talk radio, writing letters to the editor, getting involved with their local legislators. I think we have to be held accountable for our votes, and I think you'll see that.
I mean, could people expect to see, I mean, is it possible that we would see reductions in taxes?
Oh, God. You know, I would love that. I would certainly love that because I did not vote for that budget. It was the largest tax increase in the state's history. I would certainly recommend that. I don't see that happening. I'm afraid that we're going down the wrong path in the state of Connecticut in that regard.
Has it been contentious, do you think? Would you describe it as contentious?
Well, as you probably know, I'm sure obviously you know that we were there till 3:30 in the morning debating this. So for 11 hours we were debating this bill, and I think the House took it up for close to 9 hours. So no, it's certainly contentious, and it's certainly something that we provided an alternative to, and we believe that it could have been used and maintained.
And then you'll move on to other things such as this bill.
Yeah, it's a good bill, and you know, I'm appreciative to work with teachers and work with law enforcement on these type of issues, and we can move it forward.
All right,
but we would love a reduction in taxes too. Speaking for the teachers,
right, and no layoffs.
Right.
I imagine. Thanks, Kevin Egan and Senator Rob Kane, for being here. Don't forget, if you missed something here on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to ctnow.com, or you can also catch us on YouTube. Thanks for watching this week's edition of The Real Story. We'll see you here again next week.